Good day! Travel today is no longer just about destinations and itineraries. It's about intention. Most travelers are beginning to ask deeper questions. How do our journeys impact the environment? How do they uplift local communities? And how can every stay leave a positive mark long after we've gone home? But before we get into today's conversation, grab your cup of coffee and join us on Freshly Brewed, where compelling conversations brew between fascinating guests and Business Mirror's journalist hosts. As the largest hotel operator in the Philippines, Megaworld Hotels and Resorts is helping shape that shift through mindful travel, encouraging guests to travel with purpose and awareness. With the launch of Mindful Travel, the group is redefining what it means to rest, reconnect, and give back one stay at a time. To tell us more about this initiative, the rise of mindful travel, and how Megaworld Hotels and Resorts performed in 2025, let's listen in to the conversation between Cleofe Albiso, Managing Director of Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, and our very own Bless Aubrey Ogerio, Business Mirror's science reporter.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Freshly Brewed. I am Bless Aubrey Ogerio, Trade and Industry Reporter as well as Science Reporter for Business Mirror and your host for today. Travel is bouncing back fast, especially after the pandemic, but guests are now more conscious than ever about sustainability and wellness. To help us understand how the hospitality industry is evolving, we have with us someone who leads the way in that sector in the Philippines. She manages the country's largest hotel operator and shapes the travel and MICE sector through key leadership roles. Let us welcome Ms. Cleofe Albiso, Managing Director of Megaworld Hotels and Resorts. Good afternoon, Ma'am Cleo, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Bless. It's such a pleasure to be back here at Business Mirror.
Yes po. And to start po, looking back at 2025 nung last year, it was a busy year for your sector. I'm just curious, what are the big wins for Megaworld where as long as the hurdles that you had to overcome?
2025, we're so glad we're over the year because it hasn't been a perfect year for the travel and tourism sector. But for Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, we have been able to celebrate a few key wins. And part of that is being able to fully accredit and establish our 100% Muslim-friendly accreditation for all our 13 properties. We're so glad that we have had that certification completed. So we're now able to cater to our Muslim friends and brothers and sisters who come to the country and look for places to stay and, of course, places to dine. We have also been able to get the Crescent Rating Award of the Hotel Chain of the Year Award for that capability to host our Muslim guests. We did also bag for the year the award for the Philippine Tourism Awards that was given by the Department of Tourism. We were the only hotel that were given the Excellence Awards along with the Cebu Pacific Group. So we're very glad for such acknowledgement and along with other awards that we were able to capture for the year. These are really testaments. When you're in the industry, you try as much as you can to be able to stand out in ways you can and have that distinct offering where you get to be able to really put forward our advocacy for the Sampaguita, which we have always been very glad to have opportunities to share here at the Business Mirror in the past. And we were able to launch our Sampaguita Park. We were also able to, on the culture side for our people, who are the bigger talent pool that will allow us to create the guest experience. We were able to certify ourselves again for the Great Place to Work, and we were part of the inaugural Fortune 100 Best Places to Work in Southeast Asia.
Actually nga po, ang galing na yung niche ay finocus po ninyo sa ganun nga po na parang unique na focus such as yung sa Sampaguita yung sa Sampaguita po na sa menu and dun po sa focus sa ating Muslim people. And I'm just curious, ma'am, how did those kind of stuff change the way you operate in Megaworld Hotels and in this?
Yeah, all these projects that we put together really gave us a bigger and deeper purpose of what we do. We are a homegrown brand. We are the largest operator of hotels in the country, and we employ 3,000 Filipinos, hoteliers at that. This is such a big responsibility for us, and we're very glad to be able to gather people who have that same firm belief that a homegrown brand can really be able to, put forward something that we can all be proud of. So to give deeper meaning to what we do, we're actually allowing the Sampaguita to be the representation of our service excellence. Like we have mentioned in the past, we are very happy to give emphasis to our national flower. So they're not just available in our hotels through the 5 senses. We also make sure that we partner with communities that allow us to propagate Sampaguita. So they're available in 5 townships all over Megaworld estates. And we've partnered with a number of organizations that have the same faith as us, the advocacy to promote the Sampaguita. We've mentioned this. We're so proud just because of all these efforts. When we hear like Alex Ayala being gifted by Nike, no less,
The
with
Sampaguita
the
clip.
Sampaguita hair tie.
Yes.
That's a beautiful symbolism that Sampaguita is recognized as a symbol of our country.
Yes po. Nung last year, I was in Belmont, Boracay, and I've experienced those the Sampaguita menu. And I had the opportunity to ask the chef on bakit Sampaguita yung focus, bakit ano yung mga challenges na kinaharap ninyo on experimenting with incorporating the Sampaguita in your food, which is na-explain naman din po nila ng maayos, and my article is still up until today. And,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I'd like to focus naman po sa behavior ng mga guests. So far, ano po yung mga changes na na-notice ninyo in how they travel or what they expect from hotels, especially in Megaworld?
Yeah, we've heard a number of novel insights as to the changes of the preferences of booking, travel options, and the many evolving e-commerce presence where people really just want to go mobile and digital in terms of how they book guest rooms. We did notice that a lot of attention is given to distribution, anything online. What is available in terms of content is very critical. People refer to the materials that are available on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. The reels matter, the quality, and how you can sustain the attention, capture the attention. These are things that, marketing is really focusing on, because what's available online really resonates to what gets to your market. We've also noticed that people have very deep sense of purpose. Our travelers, especially the Gen Zs, and even the market as in a bigger scale, really have gotten into it's not a fad, but rather the preference of getting into destinations that will connect them to the community. There's deeper meaning to the selection of the destinations. It's not just the popular destinations. In fact, the routes that are even lesser preferred is already described as luxury. The ones that are giving the authentic experience are what we define as luxury for us, given the life, the hustle and bustle in the metro, in the urban landscape. We know that our luxury now is a good sleep, is service that's so genuine and authentic, where you are catered in a manner where your space is respected, you're given an opportunity to connect to people in the community, and you're also given an opportunity to give back. I think that counts more for travelers nowadays.
Yes, ma'am. And just to follow up, I'd like to go back to the changing consumer behavior. Since na-mention nyo nga po kanina na people are now on digital, most of them, especially the young ones, malaking portion po ba ng investment and focus ninyo sa marketing ay naalat sa digital since minsan doon nga po binabase ng tao if dapat ba silang mag-push through sa pag-stay sa hotel ninyo or not?
Yeah, this was a discussion on our way here, and we're very glad that there's still a good balance between people who go traditional
Yes.
and, of course, the people that go refer online. We definitely know that booking, because of the convenience, people go through online distribution. So people want the convenience of booking 1 click, 2 clicks, and it gets you to the booking and a complete cycle already. Even the payment facility has to really be seamless, and that's the booking preference. But what we also noticed is that because the traditional way of booking has to be taken care of still, we definitely do not close our eyes, our priorities and focus on the traditional ways of engaging with our guests and clients. Like the calls really still matter, your website presence and how easy it is to be booking direct still matters. We still have the traditional salespeople that engage, really create meaningful relationships, because at the end of the day, while some are really geared towards online booking and online presence is very important for them, the relationships will still matter. So I would say that it's still a balance of the traditional ways of doing things while we do not close our eyes on AI and what support AI can give us, as well as our online presence that has to be seamless.
It's a good thing, ma'am, that you mentioned that there is still a balance between the digital and the traditional stuff. But let's talk about mindful travel naman po, since it's a big idea these days and more people are more about sustainability now. So I'd like to ask, what are the usual problem in the hotel experience that you are trying to solve with that mindful travel agenda?
Yeah, it's actually a very ambitious and I would say a big goal that we have in mind, where we want to rally the cause for people to be more thinking, more mindful, and more sensitive as they travel. You see, we are an industry that's a big source of food wastage. You know, the carbon footprint is high, and it may take time for us to fully reduce because of the way we do things and operate. With the green mindful stays of Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, we're trying to put together everyone's interest to be involved, to give back to the earth, to the community, and to be more sensitive of each and every process of travel. The very simple things, and this I always talk about, even the way we use a guest room, you would not believe how difficult it is for a housekeeping associate to actually be cleaning after guests that really leave a room very dirty and like it's been lived by 20 people, even if there's just one who stayed in there. So by mindful travel, we are trying to inculcate that, hey, you can stay in a room and leave it as clean as you actually entered it. Maybe not as spick and span, but with mindful travel, we're encouraging people that you can be very careful with what you do in the room. You don't have to leave it dirty. It's a reflection of your care for the earth. It's a reflection of how you care also for the people who will clean after you stay. It's a very deliberate decision to be very mindful of everything that you use and consume. The very simple example is when we decide to have our towels washed every day, you can actually use the towels for 3 days without having it washed. Your linens can stay there for 3 days. We don't change our linens every day at home. And you can have it on D&D, do not disturb, our jargon in the hotels, so that we cut the carbon footprint, water wastage. And by doing so, these are very simple actions, but it's mindfulness for a traveler.
So for our audience listening, take in heart what Miss Cleo has said. So for our guests naman po staying at Megaworld Hotels, what's one clear difference they'd notice under that agenda na ini-implement niyo po sa Megaworld Hotels?
We've just really tried to start off with this move so that we will increase the interest for people to support us in this agenda. We're very glad that as we talk to media, as we talk to partners, we've had very good feedback. And, even just the pause matters. Even just encouraging everyone to be present already matters. Just the appreciation of everything that's happening in the destination, the choice of food that you order, having to really bring in your water tumbler, your water bottle is already giving an impact to the cause. And it'll take years, it'll take a lot of time for all of us to be in the grind of, creating that habit and making sure that everyone has not just a full understanding, but a heartfelt appreciation that what you can contribute matters to the community. What you do yourself is very important in the grander scheme of things.
Speaking of other hotels, ma'am, many of them brand themselves as eco-friendly. But in simple terms, what makes mindful travel different?
Oh, that's a very good question. We look at the past years and we've really noticed that everyone has been getting into the grind of explaining that we're into sustainability programs. We are a green hotel. We have efforts to make sure that we call ourselves sustainable. But Me Green Mindful Stays is really anchored on a bigger concept, an agenda that we call mindful travel, whereby we're not talking about our brand alone. It is a cause we're trying to rally for in the industry so that it becomes a normal communication, that we are mindful, that we are present, conscious of what we do as we travel. We may not be able to zero on kahit tayo. We're very guilty of that because we travel a lot. To be able to be present in all our hotels, which are scattered all over. We have hotels in Boracay, the Boracay New Coast. We've got our hotels in the Iloilo Business Park, our hotels in Mactan, Newtown, and of course the ones that we have here at the National Capital Region, including our Twin Lakes Hotel in Tagaytay. As we travel, we create carbon footprints. If we are able to gather like-minded individuals who will continue to discuss about this. So we're not just enticing people to come to our hotels. We're not just enticing our foreign travelers to come to the Philippines. But at the same time, we are also putting out the message there in the open that here we are. Come join us. Help us in making sure that travelers are mindful of what they do. Simple explanations of how when you go down on a long-haul flight, how you really see all the trash on the floor. When, your associates and agents your flight attendants on the plane actually have a schedule of collecting the trash. But how come a lot of them are still on the floor when you go down? Those little things matter. Those little efforts matter. What we're trying to say here is, we are putting a positive cause, which hopefully people will appreciate. It's not exclusive to us. In fact, it's very basic. But the more many of us discuss and tackle about it, the more we can make things happen and the bigger dent we can actually make.
As what they say, regardless if baby steps po, progress is still progress. And beyond the guest experience, ma'am, mindful travel also touches local communities. So how do these communities actually benefit beyond just jobs and suppliers?
Yeah, we have been we've been very engaged in the communities that we partner. Case in point, the ones that we have in Boracay, the Ati community. Boracay is blessed to have such a community that's still very intact, and they are there. We want to be able to give them opportunities like we did as we partner with the Department of Tourism and Industry. We partnered with them in training the women of the Ati community in Boracay, to train them how to weave nito, to create produce that we can also use in the hotels, and hopefully they can also sell to other organizations. So we're very happy to be able to connect with them. Like we say, before a destination became a tourist area or a destination that's flocked by tourists, there were homes in that area, in that land. There are homes and families that lived and thrived in that island. So much is the same for other destinations. Like we say, when we enter a home, because that's their home, when we enter our home, we knock. We ask permission to enter. And that's the same level of respect that we want to do by giving back to them, getting them involved, and giving them opportunities for livelihood that can be sustainable. It's like expressing to them our appreciation for them sharing their home to us. As we tourists, investors, as well as developers are present in the places they used to call home, we'd like them to be equally part of the ecosystem by getting activities that we can hand in hand work together with them. And if you can only see, of course, Miss Anne was there for our activities where we invited the women of the Ati community. The level of appreciation that they gave us is very inspiring. They're very thankful for the training of the Nito weaving. And of course, DTI will also partner them with possible buyers and users. It gives us an inspiration that what we're doing is actually giving back to these people who needs our attention the most.
And it's good to hear, ma'am, na hindi lang po nagtatapos sa pagbibigay ng Megaworld ng training doon sa ating local communities, kundi na plan nyo rin po na mag-coordinate sa other government agencies for them to have a plan to continue kung ano na pong gagawin din sa kanilang innovation. And it's also nice na malaman na yung isang big company ay grounded pa rin po sa ating kultura and sa local community po ng pinagtayuan din nila na ng kanilang chain. No? Since you operate multiple properties nga po, how do you make sure na yung sustainability programs po sa Megaworld are really followed everywhere and not just on paper, not just on one chain, not just on one place?
Yeah. In any project that we put forward, the best way to go, the best route to take, is always to make sure that each of our associates, especially our leaders who rally within the properties that we operate, to make sure that they have a buy-in. We painstakingly make sure that everyone's cascaded with the cause and the purpose properly, and they all understand why we're doing so. We have to remember that all these things can just be words. If we are not able to make sure that they have a grasp, that they have an appreciation of what they do, of what we do, then it will be very difficult for us to have our associates do things on their own, voluntarily. So we make sure that they understand fully why we're doing so. The same way we rallied for Sampaguita appreciation, the same way we made them appreciate why, learning about the culture of our Muslim brothers and sisters is very important. And the feedback that we get is very encouraging because you can have a hotel, you can work for a hotel as a hotelier and a hotel professional, and actually just do the same grind, the same sequence of service that you do. But here you are, we are teaching them to preserve culture by the Sampaguita Project. We're teaching them to be more proud of what a Filipino can bring because of we're such organic, hardcore ambassadors of what a Filipino brand can bring. And by teaching them the Muslim culture and the ways of delighting our Muslim guests, it gives them a deeper knowledge and appreciation of how it is to be so deliberate to make sure this is diversity as well and inclusivity. That we make sure that our overt efforts are appreciated by our Muslim guests. Same is true with sustainability.
Yes, ma'am.
With this effort to make sure that everyone is mindful, we try to pitch in. In fact, our giveaways already in the our circle of happiness, our name for our culture, are already water bottles, water tumblers. So we're encouraging it, and like you said, baby steps, we will make it happen so that we are more confident as we encourage others to do the same.
Ma'am, I'm just curious, with the pin, is that a sampaguita?
Yes, this is a sampaguita. It has 5 petals. In the Sampaguita project, we've fully identified that we resonate to 4 values: love, honor, dignity, and healing across all petals. And with these values, we also want to make sure that we overemphasize. That's why the 5th petal is of the colors of our Philippine flag. We're doing this because we have so much love for our country. It gives a deeper purpose for our group. It also reminds us that as we are a homegrown brand, really rallying of what we Filipino hoteliers can offer as ambassadors of the travel and tourism industry, that we're grounded on what we offer as a country.
Beautiful concept, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. And leaning into the business side naman po, looking ahead into this year, 2026, what are the priorities for Megaworld? Can you share any projections for I will go far-fetched, occupancy rates, revenue growth, or any other stuff, new developments, I guess?
Yeah, we will continue to really rally for, of course, profitability, because that's the core of our obligation to our owners, to our shareholders. We definitely understand that our shareholders have been very understanding of the ups and downs of the industry. We just get a big typhoon and, we get cancellations. We get an earthquake, we experience an earthquake, and people's perspective of these destinations is we're unsafe already. So there are many humps that we encounter year on year. And we have been trying to really create a team that's resilient to make sure that we have ample crisis management plans in place so that no matter what happens, we've got continuity of manning, we've got continuity of supply, so that everyone that's in our hotel continues to be served accordingly and properly. And we also have to be able to really put so much effort on creating global presence for the brand. We fully recognize that the number of rooms that we have in each of our hotels is really beyond the regular. We're really mice hotels because our average is 500 to 550 rooms. In fact, we've got Savoy Hotel Manila, that's 670. The Grand West Side Hotel, which is going to be turned into, which will be converted, as we have announced, into a move and pick this year, a franchise that we're doing with Accor. And as we do all these things, we want to be fully capable by retaining our talents. That's why it's very important that there's a deeper purpose for them to stay. There's competition, there's shortage of talents. And we will continue to compete with other brands. We will continue to compete with other companies. How do you make them stay? How do you make them believe in the culture that we have created, the circle of happiness that we have put forward, which is really dedicated to make sure that our people, those who have chosen to invest their careers with us, will believe that a Filipino brand is worth investing their years for, worth investing their talent for. That's what we are so focused on. And we make sure that we continuously create opportunities to partner with distribution partners that will put our availability out there. As we have discussed earlier, that the times have changed and distribution is a very important channel for booking. We will continue to find ways that we are available and easily accessible by guests that have interest to book with us. And we will continue as well to create a priority to have community engagement. Our MICE alliances, our presence for campaigns like Visit Iloilo, our involvements with the chambers, so that we have ample opportunities to synergize with the community. We know that as we try to clamor for a bigger share of the tourist arrivals, we will have to have a stronger voice down the destinations that we are in to make sure that we have more strength in attracting guests to choose us over the other ASEAN countries.
It's good that in all your plans, guests and consumers always come first. And before we end, ma'am, what's one thing you hope our guests and our audience understand better about mindful travel and responsible hospitality?
We're very cognizant that travel is never neutral. We live an imprint as we travel. There's so many moving parts that we get to engage ourselves with by making sure that the imprint that we leave is positive and lasting. We are seeing this once again after a very successful Sampaguita launch, as well as a well-awarded 100% Muslim-friendly activation. Here we are, knocking on people's hearts again to be really mindful in their travel. We have had our own journey that got us to this request. We know that by talking about it openly like we are doing now, by you guys, our dear partners in the media writing about it, people will slowly hear about the message. People will slowly consider, what else can I do? I'd like to contribute to that. I think it's a good idea. Those are the little feedback. In all humility, we can only put all these projects out there, and the responses will vary from one person to another. It is our prayer that as we encourage people to be mindful in their travel, that we will come to appreciate how big of an impact each and every one of us can actually have by contributing on our own little ways.
Congrats on your success, ma'am, sa Megaworld, yung mga initiatives po ninyo, and hoping for a best year this 2026. And thank you so much for tuning in to Freshly Brewed. This is Bless Ogerio, and don't forget to subscribe to all our social media channels. See you next time.
And that wraps up today's episode of Freshly Brewed. Thank you for joining us, and we hope today's conversation inspired you to look at travel not just an escape, but as an opportunity to make more thoughtful choices. Stay informed, stay inspired, and make smarter choices every day with Business Mirror. For the latest stories and updates, visit businessmirror.com.ph and follow us on our social media channels. Stay ahead, know more, and see you next time.